I've been with the Call of Duty franchise since it began, since it was a twinkle in the eye of the developer. All right, it was with Call of Duty 1, and then all the next series that went on. What I do for them is they're very good. They're very passionate on researching for the topic. They go to the books. They've got the movies. They use that, but they haven't actually been on the ground with a weapon system. They don't understand the tactics the way it would talk. So I'm able to give the last little bit of fidelity on making sure the game is as close as possible to what you would hear, feel, sound like as a real soldier in a game.
Have you ever struggled giving them advice on military tactics whilst trying to balance out the fact that you can't give too much away about the way military units operate?
No, most of what I give is open source. Now there's sometimes in the modern warfare thing you can't talk about some of the electronic warfare stuff we're doing now, and yeah, I just back off from it and say this is something you probably should not know about. But they're pretty good. Most of the stuff, if you look at open sources, you can kind of figure out what the systems are actually operating. It's very hard to keep secrets anymore with all the web stuff. At the beginning of the development of the game, we'll sit and they'll have just enormous numbers of questions. We'll sit around a whiteboard and we'll talk all the tactics things, and so actually getting them sometimes up and moving, showing them how you go around a corner, how you'd hold a weapon. I'll do a little bit of that. Most of it's me showing them rather than them actually doing that. If I had my way, I'd take them all to the field and I'd torture them for about 3 or 4 weeks, make them lay in the mud. Not because they'd make a better game, because it would amuse me. And but they hadn't had the time for that. They've always trying to get right to the game, make that kind of thing. So I do take them to the beach occasionally, make them run, make them do fireman's carries. How does that help make a better game? It amuses me, and therefore, when I'm amused, I think they make better games.
Okay, now you said that you've been with the franchise since the beginning. What are your thoughts on the way the franchise has evolved, starting at World War II, going into the future, now going back into a fictional conflict in the 80s/90s?
Yeah, I was a real fan of the World War II games. I think they honored a generation of Americans and Australians and Brits that fought a hell of a fight and are dying now at a rate of about 1,500 veterans a day. So, it gave me an opportunity to interview all these guys and use those interviews to help the guys shape the games. When they went to Modern Warfare, I was a little disappointed because, again, don't have to interview the veterans. But then again, they spent so much time on that game. I think it honored the guys that are serving right now. Honored the Aussies that were in Iraq with us for a while. It honored all the folks that are out there that are willing to put their lives on the line for their country's policies. So now they've gone back and covered an era that hadn't been covered before. The Vietnam era, the Cold War era, special operations missions, and I think that does a similar thing. We're going to lose those Vietnam veterans soon. This is going to awaken a lot of kids, a lot of young men into, what did those guys do? What was Vietnam all about? So maybe they'll open a history book or something.
So as a former soldier, what are your thoughts on using war as an entertainment form?
Yeah, that's always a question. You say, why would you want to trivialize what the sacrifices that are made by using war? And I would say, you're going to do something. You're going to be whacking something in video games. Why not whack something that has some historical context that will force someone to learn something about history? I was just over in Iraq, and the soldiers over there love Modern Warfare. They love it. They come back from patrol and they play Modern Warfare. So here's a guy that has just lost a buddy on a patrol through an IED, but he's yet willing to play a game. He would be the guy to tell you that that's trivialized some experience he's gone through. He won't do that. He thinks the game is one hellacious entertainment product. He also told me it's a great training product. I've had him link the Xboxes together, and the sergeant will actually train his teams with the Modern Warfare game. So I would say the guys in there that got cast the best vote about whether this dishonors the troops in the field have cast their vote, and they think it's good stuff.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on the use of video games for military simulators? There are some more hardcore simulating games out there that the military do use. Do you think that has a place in Modern Warfare?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you can save the ammunition, one single round of Javelin, I think, cost about $90,000 or some kind of phenomenal number. So you can't shoot a lot of those. So obviously, if you can get the same effect, looking down the scope, lining up a target, pushing the button, and train that way with a video game simulation, you're going to save a lot of money. It makes only sense. You're always going to have to get out and do things. People say, why can't you just train clear in the room? with the video games. And said, oh, you can, but you better get out there and do your timing, your routines, your magazine changeover for real, or you won't have it down. So it takes both. The game can help, but you always got to do it on the ground and rehearse it on the ground.